In today's Smart Means Business, we do look at the economic recovery in most of the sectors, away from the fact that we do mention the fuel prices. Allow me welcome you on board. Thank you very much for tuning in to Smart 24 TV. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. Thank you very much. For those that definitely making it their first sight into Smart Means Business or their first view to Smart 24 TV, this is how we definitely kickstart of the day with informing you with all the latest updates from the business world, as well as all the information regarding the matters to do with business, because we definitely are a driving force for the business world. And all in that, if you don't look at some of the key highlights that we'll be looking at, the economic recovery, and we shall also be looking at the Uganda-Tanzania relations later on with the show. Shall be looking at the East African crude oil pipeline project. We shall have an insight of the fuel crisis in Uganda, and we shall have guests regarding the same situations of how as we anticipate for the economic recovery. Do add us up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and that is Smart24 TV. Let's kickstart it off with business reports to check out what is happening from the world of business. And we started off with Mukesh Shukla, who says that resilience is a key for businesses to recover this financial year. He actually says that by the 24th of January, Ugandans are highly anticipating for the reopening, as we do await for that. But the first time this is going to happen for a full economy reopener since March 2020, when the country went into its first lockdown. The pandemic left a number of businesses down, with some fighting to recover, and with this anticipated reopening, most Ugandan businessmen are greatly enthusiastic that they can recover and strive in the upcoming financial year 2022-2023. Let's check out the details.
We have to thank God and the President that we are still breathing and we all are safe. And first of all, we say sorry to some of us who may have lost our loved ones in the past 2 years. With that small remark, you always know that as entrepreneurs and investors, we are always optimistic on side of the economy, and we congratulate the President and the Ministry of Health teams to take this risk of opening the economy at last. So we are very happy.
24th January will see Uganda's economy fully reopen again, the first time since the nation went into the first lockdown in March 2020. The pandemic left a number of businesses down, with some fighting to recover. On with the anticipated reopening, most Ugandan businessmen are authentic that they can recover or strive this year. In an interview with Smart24 TV, Mukesh Shukla believes that everyone is looking forward to recovery as Ugandans anticipate for the full economy reopening on 24th January. And he says that in the next 6 months, there will be, or should there be, very concentrative steps to undertake to see an accelerated economic recovery program.
Geopolitical scenes of the globe now, post-COVID, I feel that the balance of power, balance of economic power, balance of commercial power is shifting very fast towards large-scale manufacturers, large-scale players, and bigger GDP players. So the digitalization has made a lot of changes in last 2 years in terms of competitive advantages of countries and companies like ours and other companies in Uganda. So we had suggested them, and we are suggesting again, that number one, they should make a finance, trade and private sector task force with some members from private sector, from Uganda Manufacturers Association or privatization unit, so that they establishes the action plan for next 1 year.
Shakula also calls for resilience in the upcoming financial year so as businesses revive while others will go back to business. He also emphasizes normalizing our routines as this will drive back the mentality of business among the people.
Remain resilient. I know all of us have made tremendous sacrifices in the past 2 years in terms of losing our loved ones, in terms of finances. It must have cracked, broken down, and we must be all in a very dire situation as far as finances are concerned. Our businesses may have collapsed, some of them. Some of them may have gone out of competition. Some of them may be trying to revive. Again, we may have a lot of disputes between partners, between communities, between so many people due to lack of resources. So I'm saying that as a population, we must get back on our feet very quickly, make sure we send our children to school quickly, and normalize our routine. Because as human beings, we lose our morale when our habits and routines are broken consistently for 2 years. It's a big blow on our routines. I think I have not seen even in history where airlines have been closed like this. At least in last 80, 100 years I have not seen it. I don't know if it was there. Maybe you can excuse my ignorance.
Ugandans are fully geared up for 24th January as it will be the day when the economy will fully reopen. With other sectors like entertainment getting back on their knees, the nightlife economy is also expected to prevail once more, and it will be more on the borders to keep maintaining the curfew rule. With all this said, Ugandans will have to continue maintaining the standard operating procedures as well as getting vaccinated for those who have not, as this will ensure safe reopening of the economy.
24th January will be the D-Day, a day that the Lord decided to make, if I am to say. A good day to be alive for most of the Ugandans who are enthusiastic and are anticipating for the economy reopening. More so those in the entertainment sector. Look at the bars, look at the beaches, and look at most of those areas which have been closed, that have been maintaining curfew throughout the last 2 years. Apparently, and quite unfortunate that some have been operating even during the last 2 years. They've actually been going ahead to violate the curfew rules and been operating, which is not a good sign for the country. But nevertheless, on the 24th of January, if all goes well, hopefully, the economy will be reopened. And here you've definitely seen, as Mukesh Shukla says, he believes resilience is a key for businesses to recover. So it is supposed to be Ugandans getting back to the working situation, being resilient, having that, that vigor, that love to work, because in the last 2 years we've all been in a situation of some have been depressed, others are still wondering what to do next. But if at all you can continuously follow on, you will understand that resilience and having that morale to get back to work is quite important, and it will definitely be of help to Uganda. Aside from that, the Uganda Development Bank receives 1 trillion shillings. The Uganda Development Bank did receive 1 trillion Ugandan shillings from the government, as the government is set to implement raft measures which are going to support resilience and economic recovery. This particular year is to see the economy recovering. And if you look at some of the themes for the upcoming financial year 2022 to 2023, there is something identified as inclusive growth for economic recovery. So the inclusive growth means all of us are entitled to seeing this happen. The government of Uganda implemented raft measures to support the resilience and the faster recovery of the country's economy. And as part of these measures, the government injected 1 trillion shillings in the Uganda Development Bank to support the economy from economic shocks during the pandemic. The country's National Development Finance Institution, that is the Uganda Development Bank, approved projects worth 926 billion shillings, of which a total of 589 billion shillings has so far been dispersed into the Ugandan economy to support businesses during the pandemic period. Let's check the details.
While monitoring the response of the recovery program at the factory that manufactures grains and seeds in Lira, Patricia Ojangole, the managing director of Uganda Development Bank, hinted at the 455 billion shillings which was extended to support the three key economic and productive sectors of primary agriculture, agro-industry and manufacturing.
Government indeed, true to its cause, put a total of 585 billion shillings in Uganda Development Bank as additional funding during that period up to now. As part of the measures, part of the funding was specifically to support the economy to be self-sustaining, ensure that we have adequate supply of goods and services, and take opportunities for import replacement because the pandemic had disrupted global supply chain. So in line with that specific mandate, for the substantial portion of the funding that we got for that purpose, and I think it was 455 billion, Uganda Development Bank deployed that funding to three key economic and productive sectors of agriculture, agro-industry, and manufacturing.
In so knowing why they decided to support these three sectors, Ojangole said that the most of the applications that were received were from these three sectors and creates more job opportunities to the population, which increases the GDP of the country's economy.
You realize that given the structure of our economy, mainly agrarian, there are opportunities for agro-industry, which is really industrialization using agriculture produce as a source of raw material. Agriculture still employs the bulk of our population, and therefore the sector is very, very critical in the country's economic development. So even before we put specific focus on these sectors, when we were looking for business and which businesses to support, it is no coincidence that the bulk of the applications that you receive would be in agriculture, in agro-industry, in manufacturing. So that really represents the economic reality and the structure of the country. Even though the bank is open to supporting the other sectors, you still see a lot of opportunities in those key sectors. But also there has been a lot of government support to this sector in terms of improving the business environment, the policy direction and support, basically to encourage the private sector to participate in these sectors, because we believe these are the sectors that are going to create.
With such developments from the government and the money to support the recovery, farmers have expressed their gratitude because the rate at which they used to sell their seeds and grains were low, which was between 600 shillings and 700 shillings per kilo. But now it has increased to 1,000 per kilogram, as farmers say.
As per their buying of the seeds in villages, we have realized that these people, they're giving us some good amount of money, because when they go back to the villages, they normally give us at the rate of 1,000 per kilo. Yet in other areas, some people are buying at very low price. So TODCO is actually making the full development to farmers, in the sense that they are giving out good price to farmers. Before TODCO, in fact, there is what we call middlemen. They used to buy from villages. And during those days, they used to give us 600, 700 there per kilogram. But with TODCO, they have increased the price to 1,000. That one is gate price.
When we are buying from the farmers, at times we have the farm gate price direct from the farmers at 1,000. And then when we bring it this way, we are also given some token of an appreciation in terms of commission. We are also benefiting. And even the factory, according to the materials we have been giving it here, there is a very great change. When you look at the silos, it's also there. The bagging is also there. Even other farmers from other districts, they're even bringing the good materials, like the sunflowers, and there is open market. So this is an achievement. Compare in the past, because the money, there is no any day when we come to the director office demanding for the money and say that there is no money.
However, farmers still face some challenges of limited metric tons, which may leave their seeds without being bought. So farmers cannot grow more than they sell, and also are still using the traditional way of cleaning these seeds.
We may have an interest of digging more, but there is limitation for that, because they say that this time we want the limit, the metric tonnage at this level, whereby some farmers can even miss to grow, because you cannot grow whereby at the end of the day some bags may even be left unbought. So those are the challenges. And then too, cleaning during the harvest. If the factory and then the Uganda Development Bank can get a way of improving some machine or processing it, but here we use the traditional method, we keep on beating. We keep on beating. So all those are the challenges.
Due to poverty levels rising due to COVID-19 effects, Linda Agnes Auma, the woman representative for Lira District, has urged her fellow leaders to guide the local people if they want to gain from what they are doing. For example, making money that can sustain them even in hard times, but not hand-to-mouth earning.
Here it is. So we as leaders, we have a very big task to talk to our people, not to sing about empowerment, about transformation. We have to be hands-on. Like right now, we are starting the first season. How are we preparing our local people? What type of crops are having high market value? In our area, what have we observed as leaders that is productive, that we can advise our people to grow?
The government's support and commitment of strengthening the country's economy through the Uganda Development Bank is from 2022 and beyond. The focus will be in expanding the country's development and widening its reach amongst the underserved segments of the population, to include the youth, women and SMEs. Babu Isa, Smart 24 TV.
Sounds of Pedersen Mumbere as the Uganda Development Bank did receive 1 trillion Ugandan shillings. The country's National Development Finance Institution approved projects worth 926 billion, of which a total of 589 billion, we're speaking of shillings, has so far been disbursed into the Ugandan economy to support businesses during the pandemic period. So this is where the government is actually setting up rough measures to support resilience and economic recovery in all parts of the country. We do take a break. After that, we take an insight of the fuel crisis in the country. Stick around.